Good evening, YouTube comic community. This is Jimmy the Geek Aficionado, and I have a brand new show. It is called What Do You Hunt? We are trying to find out what the members of the community are looking for in 2021 and in general in their comic collecting goals and needs. And we are here to talk about that tonight. And I have some special guests that I've brought on the panel to talk about that. With me is Comic Man Andy.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, buddy? We've got Skeff's Comic Knowledge.
Hello. What's up, everybody?
I'm his number one.
Bearded Comic Bro.
Hey, I was trying to get the story post. Hey, everybody, come over. I was like, shoot, he's gonna get to me before I can get it up. And
I mean, you can still do it.
We'll get back to you.
Oh wow, wow.
What did Greg just say?
I guess that's all that takes. That takes. Like a teacher, who are you texting? No one now. No one now.
All right, that's enough of that. So, welcome, gentlemen. I intentionally wanted to get the Bearded Trio on this first time. And Andy doing his impression of Boomman Skeff.
Is this how it's done?
It is exactly how he told me he does it. Make sure that you just talk about he did a terrible job. It is hands down the worst video I've done recently that he botched terribly. But, you know, to each its own, and at least he talked about the covers and pronounced the names correctly. So
I loved it.
That. The books were about murder, so he's not wrong.
There you go. So he killed it.
He murdered your channel.
He absolutely did. He will be off frame for this whole viewing.
You know what the best part about that character is that you get to actually, fourth wall that, right? Like if you can start moving the boom mic up in front of your face, just push it back.
Yep. He knows about behavior, don't you? Good. Shut up. All right.
Do you talk to yourself? Yes, I do.
Yep. Someone got to talk to somebody.
You might call that schizophrenia. Can you spell schizophrenia?
Nope. I can spell the Joker.
Val has much like it ain't working. So.
All right, so we're hunting for books, right? Hunting for books,
right? Yeah. Well, before we get to talking about
all the viewers,
let's say hello to the chat. Let's start off and say hello to JP's Budget Collect, who has just recently insulted me by telling me that I have a disgraceful beard.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I want to make sure everybody understands. I'm not going for the neck beard look, right? This is a groomed, coiffed beard. I can't. Yeah,
I can't
braid it or anything like that. I'm not going for the Duck Dynasty action. But
I thought you just had some dirt on your face. That's not bad.
Jesus, savage.
I know.
I'm the one that got booted out of the stream. Really?
You weren't done advertising. You had
I was advertising.
I put that thing out there way ahead of time. Just now, you decided to throw it on. Hey, forgot.
You've known for like a week. He's like, I should post it now.
Well, it's because honestly, because that's how I'm wired. I hate going on YouTube and seeing a premiere. I'm like, oh, I want to watch this, and then it's like, oh, it premieres in 3 days. I want to watch it now. So I'm like, if I click something, I want it to say, hey, boom.
Everybody say hi to Kabi from Comic Books NYC. He's going to catch us on the rewind along with our good friend Backseat Driver. We want to throw a shout out to those folks. K Titus is here. Vincent McLean, the Comic Machine.
Vincent. Ooh, Vincent.
All right. Well, that's enough of that. We'll invite more people in the chat in later, and we'll throw some comments up as we talk. So let's crack open a drink. I got a refreshing glass of Stella, and let's talk about comics.
It's a good warm up. When do we go live?
Oh, dude, this isn't your Wednesday show. We are live. So, first question I want to ask you guys. When you start off the year or at any point, do you have collecting goals in mind? or do you wing it? You freeform? What do you got? What do you do?
I can go first. I was a hot mess in 2020 because I watched everybody else do these hunt list, goal list shows. I'm like, that's a great idea. And then I never did it. So my entire year 2020 was like squirrel. Oh, yeah, I got to do. And I was completely unorganized as far as my PC goes, my personal collection. And I was able to pick up some great stuff. Like a lot of other people, availability, things just became very available at some point, the beginning of 2020 and rolling on through the summer. So stuff was available. And I realized halfway through the year that I really, really needed a list, and I really wrangled myself in and kind of focused on a couple of things. So for 2021, there is a hunt list and there is a goals list. And this time I'm actually going to be focused.
Right on. So, Skeff?
I have a hunt list of like 2 books. Like, I guess I'm always hunting. I guess you could put it that way. Like, I'm always looking for deals. And there are a couple books that are specific to things I would like to have by the end of the year. But I do just try to stay flexible. Like, if something pops up and it wasn't something I was after, and it's on a good price with a good potential, then I will pick it up. Like, I'm always hunting. I'm just always.
You know, and anybody who's watched your videos can probably really glean that from what you're doing. I mean, you're out there and you're getting a lot of the modern hot books, right? And you're getting them slabbed. I mean, listen, I send in books as a side job, and I don't send in as many as you do. I mean that wholeheartedly. I do not send out as many books to CGC as you do, and I've got like 12 orders over there.
I've seen them. We've seen them.
Nobody sends out as many books as Skeff. I watch Skeff's videos just to know, like, okay, when's a safe time to send books to CGC? Like, did he just get a whole box? I might have a window here. I might have a window here where I can get some books back in within 4 months because he's always has books there.
I got another like 50 I'm sending out on Monday, so get ready. So
50. Wow.
Yeah, just 50.
Yeah.
Just 50.
If they're not customer books, right? But like my own books, I'm not sending that hot. That's crazy. But you're you're using those books and you're selling those books through, retail outlets, right? eBay or wherever, Instagram, I'm sure. But what are you turning that money back in for? What are you really hunting?
The Silver Age Grails, the things that like I couldn't normally go out to a convention and drop like $2,000 on. So it's like those big time, at least for me, they're big time books. So, you're always after, like I'd like to get a 9.8 and ASM 300, maybe a single issue copy or like a single digit ASM copy, you know what I mean? Some early copy there, Journey into Mystery. You know what I mean? Like there's just always like big boy books that I'm just trying to like save up for to acquire one of those. And that's kind of like the end goal, right? For me, is to try to turn this into from quantity to quality, and it just takes time. Kind of like it takes time.
No, that's very true. It does take time. It certainly does, and sometimes the margins are not there, right? As much as we would like them to be.
No.
Yep.
So, what about you, Greg? What do you hunt for, man?
Man, so this year is my first year I've ever made a list, and that was because I was asked to be on a show called "What Do You Hunt."
I'm glad I can help out.
Well, but I say that, but I don't mean it to a degree. Like I always use the CLZ app, so I know. So I'm very specific with what I'm looking for, so I always know what I have. So
you put them on the wish list, right?
Yeah. So like I'm very much into. I'm trying to collect as much from the Batman Volume 1 as I can. So all 2020 was just trying to rack in like dollar bin books of it and all the low, hard to get, not hard to get, easy to get books. And I know I'm not going to tackle into the 100s or lower basically with those because I don't have 50 books I can slab and sell and make those money. And even then I can't. I mean, Batman just went, 2 million again? Like I can't. I'm never going to get some of these books. Like it just.
You can get the pages.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like, you think I'm joking, right?
No, I know
I'm not joking. I would
Oh, no,
legitimately.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's crazy.
I would legitimately buy a page of AF-15 if
One
it was
of
available.
one of the guys I follow on Instagram is his name's Libby Bell Collecting. He's down in Texas, and he had for a while like a page of Batman #1.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Batman #1 until he actually upgraded and got a 0.5, right? Front cover, no back cover, 0.5 copy of it. First Joker, first Catwoman. Oh my God! Let's
win.
Quick segue. Did anybody catch the news on the Heritage auction that just finished?
Was it
9.4 graded copy of Batman #1 sold for $2.2 million.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yep. It was the highest selling version of that book, correct?
Absolutely.
And yep.
I can honestly say I don't think there has been, and I could be wrong about this because I want to say I'm like recalling something in the $3 million area, but I want to say that might have been the highest selling comic book in history. But I could be wrong. I think potentially an Action One went for over three.
Action One would, yeah.
But I think like I said, I think it went for over 3. We got TJ Slapdragon Watson in here. Now, I told everybody going into this, all the people that I invited to be on this show, be on the lookout because this is going to be TJ's new favorite show to find out what everybody wants. And when he turns that Santa Claus charm on, he's gonna start rewinding these episodes looking for what his friends want. I'm here for you, TJ.
Oh,
I got your back, buddy.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that's crazy though. 3 million sale.
Yeah, but it was like that. I'm not confirmed on, but yeah, definitely it's the highest price that book has ever gone for. But I mean, it's a 9.4, right? It's near mint. It's almost flawless. So that's crazy. Anyway, so Greg, you just this year decided to put a little bit of
So basically what I've gotten in my list down to is, I have basically the only ones I'm looking for still now are like some of the key like first Silver Age appearance of Two-Face, first Silver Age appearance of Poison Ivy. So like the 171s, the 155s, the 122s, the Ra's al Ghul, like some of the main keys now. I'm pretty much set with all the other books from like 300 up, except for some of the main keys. So I've got a list about like 12 Batman keys, and that's my focus, like that I'm driving hardcore this year. I want to try and get as much as I can. So that way then like when an opportunity comes and I can drop a couple hundred on like a lower number Batman book, I can.
Yeah.
And I'll never sniff a Batman one, but that's okay.
So your focus is 100 to current.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. That's a noble goal. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'm looking at some more of the earlier issues as well. But yeah, I mean, just cracking into like 150, right? Is that's significant territory,
right?
In the Batman area. Now, do you collect detective as well, or just Batman?
So detective is going to probably be 2022. My goal is to get as much as I can of the Batman run, and I know this is going to be an expensive year because now I'm all on just the keys, but we'll give or take try and do some selling to get that. And then next year, then we'll counterbalance it by going back and trying to do as much of the dollar cheap detective comics. Yeah. I have a good start on those, but that's a lot bigger run than the Batman, so they got a head start.
Yeah, it's crazy. I honestly, I hit thrift shops and discount stores for the Batman filler issues, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you go to a comic book store or a convention or something like that, I mean, even something in the 400s is $10. That's like a bare minimum for a Batman book. When you go out shopping for it, in the field, which is understandable, right? Because it's in demand. But you can go and like I sold my entire Batman New 52 collection for $500, right? 52 issues, $500, right when 52 ended, right? I have gone back and I have replenished the entire run for almost $1 each.
I mean, you really can, except for like those first, like there's like
the
first 5 in that first 12.
Yeah,
Besides that, though, yeah, they're $1.
Yeah, it's like I think number one, I think I paid $30 for. You know, I kind of expected it. You know, I knew that was going to be the tough one to get. We have TJ throwing some shade, but TJ, you have to understand it takes a lot of planning to get this together, and these three guys had nothing else going on. And I wanted an all beard show, so what are you going to do?
I'm beginning to think TJ doesn't like
I
me.
take zero offense to that, TJ. You are the best he could do the first time. It is what it is.
If this turns out terrible, it's all of our fault. So regardless, you'll be okay.
Right. So when you guys go, you're looking for books, either ones on your list or just ones in general that you collect. Where do you go? What are your favorite places to go? Where do you see the best, effort? I mean, obviously, we all go to local comic book shops, right? But do you find that that's more beneficial to you, or are other places more beneficial?
Man, I'm at the point where I'm hunting ghosts. So everywhere I have to search I'm ordering books from overseas.
Yeah, you are.
Like my number one book for 2021, the very top of my hunt list for this year, is an ASM 135 9.6 or better.
Oh, the second appearance.
So the second appearance.
Should have guessed that.
There's been only 2 recorded sales of a 9.8. Well, wait, let me rephrase that. From 2019 to now, there's only been 2 recorded sales at a 9.8 of $3,500.
Wow.
9.6 averages about 8 to 10 sales a year. I'm not going to find a copy that's going to hit a 9.4 or 9.8, 9.6 or a 9.8 at my LCS or any other local shop, really, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, you can find it, but it's rare. It obviously doesn't always fall into the space of the time frame. Generally, if you're just waiting for it.
I've been really lucky. A lot of people in the community on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram have tagged me and found stuff, and I've got a handful of ungraded copies that are in mid-grade and whatnot that I've kind of slowly this is a little bit better. This is a little bit better. And escalated my way up, scaled my way up, but nothing was really available 9.6 or 9.8. And the 1 or 2 occasions that it has been in the past, I haven't had the finances there to make it happen. So that's going to be one book that I'm probably going to have to sell my way to and let go parts of my personal collection or some other things. I might have to sell my way to that book. And like ASM 50, 2021, I want to buy my first ASM 50 graded copy. That's not going to be cheap either, because ASM collectors have made those books harder to find in high grade. Again, I get it. Grabbing those books in high grade, it's the Spider-Man collectors that make those books a little bit harder to find as far as Punisher and Kingpin go.
I got to tell you, I mean, Amazing Spider-Man is always an expensive book, right? It's always beloved by collectors, and anybody who's trying to find, Amazing Spider-Man's in excellent shape, they're always going to have a hard market, right? There's always going to be a lot of people looking for those kind of books. Big keys from Spider-Man, right? I think you've got, most of the major keys for Spider-Man really are in the top 15, right? Those are the big Spider-Man villains are in the top 15.
Oh, for villains.
After that, you've got 50, you've got 101, and 129, right? Like that's really it, until you get all the way down to 300, right? When you get to Venom. I think one of the reasons why
252.
What's that?
252.
252 is a big book, but there's no big first. There's no big first to it, right? There's no big introduction to anything other than the black suit, right?
Right.
And to be honest with you, you can pick that book up for $100.
Not in high grade though.
In pretty high grade, you can probably you can get a raw one. I wouldn't say like a slab one, but you can get a raw one. I mean, maybe recently that's gone up a lot more, but I'd say it'd have to be in the last year. But historically, it hasn't really been that hot. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a big jump, right? And Venom is that draw that keeps kind of bumping back up. But to go back to the earlier, it's like I said, I mean, that first 15, they're rough for everybody, and then 50 is no different, really. I mean, that's just the way that series kind of plays out. So the Kingpin is a huge character. He got an incredible portrayal from Vincent D'Onofrio in the Daredevil series. And if what we all want to see happens, we'll see Vincent D'Onofrio and John Barenthal in the actual ASM Amazing Spider-Man movies, in the MCU, which would be phenomenal, I think, for everybody.
I got incredibly lucky when I found that Pence variant of ASM 50 at my LCS. A little over a year ago, Christmas 2019, was it? Yeah, Christmas 2019. Walked in the week before Christmas, and it was sitting there. Somebody sold a collection into them, and they put the ASM keys out on the wall, and I'm like, wait, is that what I think it is? I'm looking at them like, well, it's a Pence variant. And the managers, the guys at the counter, like, and nobody around here really collects Pence variants. I'm like, you know how rare it is to find a Pence variant of ASM 50 online for sale?
I will tell you what, though, man.
Rhetorical question.
When you locate the copy that you want and you want to get some scratch for it, call up Chad RCG and tell him about that Pence variant. I'm sure he'll hand you cash fast.
The one reason why I got that book for the $50 price tag they put on it, it's like a mid-grade book, but a kid opened it up and went to the page where Spider-Man throws the suit in the garbage can, took a Crayola marker and colored the red and the blues of the suit in with Crayola marker.
But it's on the inside.
It's on the inside.
And
there's some people have warned me that if I send it to CGC that could potentially come back as restoration, but
not if it's crayon.
It's actual marker, Crayola marker.
Yeah, that might be a different story.
Yeah, so I haven't sent it into CGC, and some people have guided me and told me call CGC first and get guidance before you do anything.
Right.
So
Greg, Skeff, where do you look? Where do you go hunting?
Greg, go first.
Sure. Obviously, Comic Store is a token if I need to, but for this last year, I was hitting up. Being in the Midwest, I have like 5 half-price bookstores around me, and so I was looking for those Batman books, and I'm getting them for $1.50, the same ones that you would get at a comic store for $5-6, So it made it a lot easier, and definitely I look at those secondhand stores. Before pandemic hit, I was garage sailing like a boss, just trying to hopefully find that one gem. I went to a couple of foreclosed homes where they were doing like sales and things like trying to just find those hidden gems. So that's really I try and go thrift stores, secondhand stores as much as I can. I know I'm not going to get high grade books in that, but I am at the stage of I just want to collect, and if I can get a first appearance of Poison Ivy somehow in a 2.0, I'll get it, and then if I can upgrade, I can upgrade later. But my goal is just to have the book right now.
Yeah.
And so I'll go to secondhand stores through and through right now.
I hear that. Skeff?
So for me, I have used every single resource I can to acquire books during the pandemic. Previously, conventions were a great go-to just because the quantity of opportunities and the quantity of making deals, always a phenomenal chance. But during the pandemic, I have taken great advantage of using Instagram and Facebook, YouTube, eBay, and local hunting. I have about access to, I think, 5 comic shops within like 45 minutes of me.
Where are you located, Skeff?
Indianapolis.
Really?
Yep.
I'm just north and above Chicago. I've never actually hunted in Indy, but
some are good, some are bad. Nothing like not too many of them have anything like old, but like anytime there's a chance to get some maybe some I guess older modern books, there's a good chance for those. But eBay and Instagram, I've actually had the most success with getting books that had really great potential. That's where I ended up getting my graded copy of All New Marvel Now .1 at a 9.8. Purchased the raw copy of that off Instagram. And then my ASM 9.8 that I have, ASM 252 9.8, I bought a 9.6 off of Instagram as well. And cracked it open. Got a 9.8 out of that one. So I've used every resource I can have access to acquire everything.
It's a fun trick, right? Getting that 9.6 CPR in it, and earning several times over in value.
I've done that about 3 or 4 times this year, and it felt good.
He hit you right there. You're like,
It works. I have a whole video series dedicated to it. All right, so we're gonna hit up the chat here for a second. We got some.
Oh, half price books are good too. Beer did mention that. I have access to like 3 half price books. Those are interesting hit or misses when you go there.
it really is because
Like, anything there.
well,
like
because
Jimmy has knows about that.
they have the same technology we do of like resources
yeah.
of what they cost, and so like I was just at a half price bookstore today. They had a Star Wars #1 in their collectible comics, but it was a reprint, and they're selling it. I mean, had to be a 2 point, like a 3. It was beat up. They're selling it for $40 because a reprint of that.
Star Wars #1, yeah.
They don't know the difference of whether it's a 9.8 or a 2.0, but they'll say, "Oh, this is what it goes for at this." So,
yep. A shop that I visited, I think last week, had a copy of X-Men 101.
Nice.
But they wanted $500 for it, and it was every bit of like a 7.0 copy.
yeah.
So I'm just like, hard pass.
Yeah.
But they had one, and it was kind of cool to see.
That's not going to cut the mustard, as we say.
No.
So Big O has joined us. Hey, Big O. As we've also seen TJ the Slab Dragon. He is giving some information that, yes, he's looking for an 8.0 as well, Andy. So watch out for overbidding on TJ.
Yeah.
Just be careful because he's going to get it, just so you know.
They do.
Two Brothers says some of his favorite people are on screen, and Greg is there too.
Oh my God.
It's all right. That's why Justin Birch is my favorite member of Two Brothers Comics. So
Yeah, right?
Wait, he's not even one of the brothers.
That's a beautiful part. You have no idea which one's talking crap to you that whole time.
that's why I just say Justin because I know it's not.
Right? John's Comics with the Kids is here.
Beard United.
Yeah, he's loving it. We got Los, but he's gonna pop in and out a little bit. And John is reminding us of the Comic 84 Let It Breathe method that was coined by D-Runk Comics. That's how he got his Uncanny X-Men 266 from a 9.6 to a 9.8. Just cracked it open and handed it back to him.
100%. 100%.
Andy's taunting me at this point.
The lovely old school cases.
Right.
That point 2 is always so subjective, right?
Absolutely. Los, hey buddy. I think that might be all. Yeah. Yeah. Never getting the land war in Asia. Never getting a bidding war with TJ. It's very good advice to.
I'm just dropping knowledge left and right.
Right. Everybody's got that coming on. All right. So let's get into some specifics. And let's find out. Are you guys? So, is there any big game hunting going this year, or are we keeping it kind of, somber? What are we looking for?
Big game hunting.
Big game hunting.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Big game hunting for me this year. I'm going after the same book you're going after, Jimmy.
Which one's that?
Well, one of your many hundreds, but the Journey into Mystery 83.
Oh, well, I'm not after that right now. I had come across that book at a half price. And it was there, and I was like, I'm going for it. Right? I'm in. I'm all in. And
As you should have.
it was too late. Yeah. But no,
that's
Journey
my
to 83.
That's my big game hunting that I'm going after this year. And for the love of God, I need a 9.8 in Ultimate Fallout 4. That is the other book I definitely need to acquire this year for the love of all that is holy.
I have a 9.6 that I've gone after twice and still come back with a 9.6. But it still has the same flaw, and I haven't been able to get that flaw out. So, once I get it out, I'm positive that it's gonna be there.
Yeah, I know that lovely Bridesmaids. That's been a challenge. Yeah, Ultimate Fallout 4 has been a challenge for me. Ooh, Swamp Thing 37, Constantine. That's a great book to pick up.
I have that in a 9.8 actually.
Vincent, there you go.
Got that in at my LCS. He had me press it, and I was like, I like this copy. Because then we came in, it had a spine roll on it and everything.
Oh, yeah, you showed me that book.
Yeah.
That was a
Came in all, rolled up and everything, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Here, I'll trade you my copy, which is like an 8, and some cash. He's like, sure. I took it, sent it in 9.8. I was like,
yeah, killed it.
Score.
Killed it.
But okay, so Journey to Mystery 83. So is that the big book, or is there any other ones?
No, that $5,000 book should suffice for me.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive.
You sure you don't want to throw any more books in there?
Maybe Incredible Hulk #2, ASM #1. We're gonna have to toss those in there as well. Happily will accept pages of those books if you have them lying around.
Yeah. How about a bag of chips?
Right.
Pieces of Action Comics #1.
I would probably buy that. Probably. Maybe.
For $5,000 or
Not
$3,000,
that much.
I think is
I
what
would
it
buy
went.
a page. If there was a page available. Yeah, totally.
What about you, Greg?
I mean, I'm not going for $5,000 books by any means. Again, mine is I probably have about 12 or 13 on my list, and depends on what the grade is. It's anything. I'm really at the stage of I'm just trying to get as much of it of complete as I can of a run. So my goal is to get it in my hands and then worry about upgrading and doing that later. So I mean, I can find probably a lot of these, the first Mr. Freeze, the first Poison Ivy, the first Silver Age 2. I'm talking Silver Age ones.
Yeah.
I can probably find them near the $100 price point in a low grade. And
it's not easy to find that 121 in $100.
No, some of them not. No, but like I'm talking like I was, and I beat myself. And this is where it was. I was at a convention a year ago, right before the pandemic hit. There was just a beat up first Silver Age of Scarecrow, and I mean they were selling it for $30, but I mean it was just beat up, like it was not in good shape. And it was $30, and I passed on it. And ever since I walked out of that con, I said I'll never do that again. If I need the book, I'm just gonna get it, and I can always upgrade later. So yeah, I mean I know the 121, the lower you get, the harder. Like I think I've seen the Poison Ivy, the 171 that's
181.
181. I've seen that one at like shops for like 150. So it's kind of, around the 200 range. I'm going to probably be finding most of these books I'm hoping for. And there's some that are, I still need to get a couple of the newer keys, but which are going to be a little cheaper, but not crazy. So again, I'm not going for any big dogs, but I just want to get the books so I can get the collection complete and then move from there.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. So that's going to segue into another question about, quality over, dollar figure. But before we do that, let's finish this round up with Andy. So what grail are you hunting, buddy?
Dude, I have a white whale of a book that I've been working on for a while trying to find. It's a series I've never read called Saga.
I heard it's really
good. Have you heard of it?
Andy, it's about a guy who he writes it. His name is like Brian K. Vaughan.
Oh.
Yeah, he's really good at writing.
Oh, all right, so the Image First reprints, there's a 2012 copy, there's a 2014 copy, and a 2017 copy.
Yeah.
I have the 12 and I have the 17 available. 2014 was very low print. I need a 2014 Image First Saga that can make 9.8 or one that's pre-done at 9.8. The census numbers are like lower than like 8 or 6 right now. That is the only book that I have left that I don't have at least a raw or a graded copy of for my full run of Saga #1s. There's 11 copies.
So 2014 is what you're after.
2014 Image First.
It'll say it on the interior cover. That is 2014, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Any different cover looks compared to the other two?
They look exactly the same. The 12, the 14, and the 17, which is why some collectors have a difficult time. They're like, yeah, here it is on eBay at 2014. And you look at, hey, what does your interior cover say? Oh, it says 2017.
But they're probably the same value, right?
It should be a $50 9.8 basically, because it's a dollar book. Once you do all the grading and everything else, you make $20 on it and sell it for $50. Like,
Okay.
I'm at the point where I'm just gonna pay like triple for the book if I find it. Like, I don't care anymore. I just want it
know what
done.
I'm hunting for this year.
I want it done. It's my white whale book. It's my white whale $50 9.8 book that I'm willing to just pay way over just to have it and be done with it.
Oh man,
That's my big white whale.
That's awesome.
I have one little fun little tidbit about like completing like collections and grails and things like that. I had a guy message me after I did one of my videos like a month or two ago, and he bought a copy of ASM 202 9.8 off of me. It was white pages, and the reason he messaged me and wanted that specific book is because he has an entire run of ASM 100 through 300, except for 2 books, all in 9.8 white pages. The 2 books he was missing was my 202, and he has it now, and he's missing a copy of ASM 249 and 9.8 white pages, and then he would have a complete ASM 100 to 300 at a 9.8 white pages.
Mm-hmm.
So
epic.
So I actually,
that's cool about like, you know, people that you know that collect like that, and like one of the things that I love about Andy is his goal, his Punisher goal, right? I mean, if you talk to anybody, right, they wouldn't say, yeah, I'm trying to get, you know, the entire second series of Punisher at 9.8.
Yeah, that's another white whale collection goal that it's like I don't put it on hunt lists because I'm constantly hunting for that. And unfortunately, with current market news and what's going on, the books people are posting, they're posting for 10 times what they should be selling for, and people aren't buying them, thankfully. You know, just I digress. Shall we move on?
No, I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, like, because you go to the CGC census and you see some wild lists out there of what people are collecting, right? I mean, yours pales in comparison to some of the crazy stuff that I've seen out there.
Yeah, I think I'm in 3rd place for the Punisher run right now. I think and the 2nd place guy, it's basically the 1st place guy. It's all of his extras. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's kind of like a lifetime goal. For those Punisher books out of the 80s are not getting any better in shape. They're still bouncing around. I don't care what the print numbers are at this point. It doesn't matter because it's all about the grade for that run for me. And that all started because I was buying those slabs years ago for $20, $30 at 9.8. Nobody wanted them.
No.
Yeah.
And I put a huge dent buying these 9.8 slabs for $20 to $30. And now you get some of them are just like hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, nobody's buying that. You can ask that all day long. I've had books that I've waited for years on eBay to go from 300 down to like $60. It happens.
You inflated the market though, Andy. Yeah. You were the only one, but you're scooping up all these.
I'm the buyer.
So, you're playing the long game. That's always worth it. And I don't know if you guys have been able to keep up, but the chat is crushing it tonight.
Biggie's chat comment was fantastic.
Absolutely. And, you know, I cannot highlight some of them just for, you know, content's sake, you know, on the replay. But John's Comics with Kids was one of my favorites as well.
I just read Biggie's comment.
I will salvage this show, Biggie. I swear to God, I will. I will bring in Boom. You stay there. You're not going anywhere. But if he needs to come in, he will.
And just like that, Skeff bombed the show too.
Yep.
Right. Thanks. Way to salvage.
Like the Titanic, right?
So we were gonna turn on that note. Greg, you were mentioning about condition, right? Yeah. Like you don't care about necessarily about the condition, you know, as long as you're getting that placeholder, right? And I think that's something that a lot of us do, right? Especially, you know, if it's something that's outside of our price range, you know, like majority of our collection is very nice, but you know, when we start getting into those key issues, you know, getting them in high grade is, you know, quite often just unrealistic for, you know, for our budgets, right? Or for our means. So when you go and you're, you know, hunting down the books that you're trying to, you know, collect from your Batman run, you know, and you start hitting some of those later issues. I mean, you know, what's your no-go point, right? And what's your budget area?
I mean, I feel like I have a good enough understanding of what I can get it for. And so it's one of those also just, it depends on what the book is. It depends on, for me, of where it's at. Like there's a couple of those like upper tier. I'm thinking like 666, the first cameo of Professor Pig. Like it's not a hard one to get, but I've passed on it a couple times because I've seen it going for $50 and I'm like, I can get that cheaper. And so like if it's one of those where I know I can get it cheaper or even go online to get it cheaper, I'll wait on that. But my kind of no is like some of these, like the Scarecrow one that I missed. And I'm like, dag nabbit, I should have done that. That's where I'm always trying to look at those books on eBay that I'm kind of like, what ones do I need still, just so I have an idea. I'm not saying eBay dictates the market of what I'm buying, but at least I have a knowledge of, I can find this, like, okay, it's going for $30 with $5 shipping. So I can find this for $35. So can I find it for 38 and not have to worry about shipping and know what it is? So I'll try and play that a little bit. These books, I definitely look at what I want and have a familiarity with what they're at least going with online. Comic shops, I think, are a little bit more hit or miss because I'll go to, like Skeff, I have like 6 shops around me within a 25-minute radius here in Columbus.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I'll hop around to the shops and see what they're pricing books at, and I'll see kind of, and I mean, they're usually higher sometimes than what I can get in certain areas. So it just is trying to know. And the cap, it's not my birthday. Nice try. Quit trying to play that game in the chat. Yeah, that's me.
I got one LCS in my town. One LCS in my town that
moved to Indiana or Ohio, like the cool kids.
Right.
You guys are only like 3 hours away. I'm gonna come.
If I push my drive time to an hour, like an hour instead of 45 minutes,
yep.
I have access to like 8 shops.
Oh my good lord! I'm gonna.
If I push mine to 45 minutes, I have access to 10.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
I do have a half price books an hour away that I think I might go hit up next week or the week after.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It is a very difficult challenge because at the end of the day, all the shops I go to, Jim and I had this discussion before. Like all the shops that I go to, there's never any golden age, there's never any silver age, there's nothing like epic that you would see at shows. Like the shops that I get, most of the stuff they have is like they have great like back issues of like modern stuff back to like 2000 and like maybe the 90s, but for those like big like wall books, they don't really get that many great wall books. And if they do, they're overpriced and they have no wiggle room on the price they have listed. So I'm just like, all right, let's move on from that and try elsewhere. Because like that's the hard part about.
In a lot of cases, they're consignment as well, right? So you get people bringing them in and they've got it at a specific level and they don't want to go below that, because they've got to shell out to somebody else. It's totally
correct. Yep. And then there's no wiggle room because the person's not there to have that discussion. So you're like, I saw the other day there was a shop here in town had on consignment a copy of Eternals #1 and #2, but both are like listed for almost like right close to the graded value of the book. So it's just not worth it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Actually, my LCS just bought a whole set of Eternals and dropped them off for me to grade, so got to go through those. But yeah, I totally understand what you mean. And for those of you, chiming in the chat about, like distance to stores, I totally understand. I mean, 45 minutes, I can get to maybe 3 stores and 2 of them are just junk. They're just, they're not worth going to. It's like the only place that's really worth going to is my friend's LPS that I helped him kind of, like build it up. Right. But, so like, I know what's in there and I like what's in there. And, that's kind of the thing. But everything else for me is outside that 45 minutes, right? It's going to be closer to the Chicago area,
yep.
And then in and around Chicago. And it just kind of depends on where you go. Some stores are really great for current stuff or bronze or silver. Some are, great for gold, and some are just normal stores that, if you're looking for a missing back issue,
right.
Recent back issue, mind you,
yep.
right? Like I'm still missing a couple of issues of year 0, right? And I'm like, how did I miss this? Right? Like, like when did that fall off my pull list, or did I forget to put it in entirely? And I just been pulling them off the rack, right? And then that book took off, and now we're on volume 2, and I've got issue 1 of that, and I don't even know what one it's on now. So.
But that is true. Like knowing, for those of us that have the benefit of shops around us that are multiple, like I'm sure Skeff knows too. Like I definitely have if someone's like, hey, I'm coming into Columbus, I'm looking for, I'm like, what are you looking for? I can say, go to this shop, or this shop. If you're dollar bin diving here, if you want to look for, Silver Age books, go here. If you want to be able to wiggle, like knowing the shops like that definitely work. Like, and knowing that there are some shops that just don't know what they have. Sometimes there definitely is one.
Yeah.
And man, I hit that up all the time.
And if you guys are looking for Golden Age books, hit up this guy. Because I hear he's got some great books. They might be his personal collection, but I'm sure if you
are you serious?
You shell out the buckets, he'll be after.
With the price is right.
Yeah. No, Bonafide, yeah, Bonafide actually he does shows and stuff like that. So he's also a retailer as well as a collector, and he's going to be on the show in an upcoming episode too. So.
Nice. This goes well. Yes.
Yeah, I want 2021.
As long as Skeff hasn't ruined the show already. I mean, Andy, right off.
Yeah, as long as I just look at the viewership. I mean, we've been holding steady, with the viewers and the people in the chat today. So I'm real happy.
Let me know when the shirts need to come off, right?
Oh.
I want 2021 to be the year that a year of firsts for me, and Golden Age Marine Corps books. Something I want to start collecting.
We'll start watching Golden Guys.
I watch them every week.
Golden Guys, but DS, DS is always showing off those really good war books.
He's buying them and hoarding them. He's not selling any of those.
That's not true. No, I've seen him get rid of a few.
He reached out to me a couple times with some of mine that I was like, I'm looking for, because I also, besides Batman, I obscurely look for Dick Tracy and Flaming Carrot comics.
Flaming Carrot! Oh my God, yeah.
Which are really random and weird, but so we've had some conversation with those. But
so actually, that leads me to another question. So when you guys go to shows, right, or even when you go to an LCS, when you walk in the door, if it's not your normal LCS, you're not there for your Wednesday pull, right? What do you target first, right? Let's talk LCS. What do you target when you go to the LCS, right? You're not in an area that that you're used to, being around, right? Like, you're making like, a little over an hour or something like that. Or you go to a store you don't normally go, you don't know what they've got. What are you going for? Are you going straight for the dollar, the back issues? Are you checking the wall books?
So for me, since I have access to a couple of shops, like if it's like a couple days later and I make it out to like a shop further away, I'll see if there's any like hot books to maybe like pick up if I couldn't find any ones closer to me. And then it would be kind of like the back issue digging from like the past 6 months. If anything new has popped up or anything kind of like got hot in that last 6 months to try to find and like dig for.
Yeah.
And then like the last thing is like, because I know most shops I nearby don't really have any like wall books, but if something is kind of cool up on the wall, like I'll double check that next. But yeah, it's kind of for me it's a little harder for our shops doesn't have that many that cool wall books, but they occasionally.
Andy?
My shop does a 3-tiered system where they do wall books, they do case books, and they do the bins in the back of the shop there. So obviously wall books are your wall books. Case books are generally $10 to $100. So when I go into an LCS, I look at their formatting on how they're laying things out. I either go right for wall books if that's all they're going to do, if they pile everything on the walls, or I look for that middle ground a lot of times. Because if I'm out hunting, I'm not carrying thousands of dollars with me. I might carry $50 to $100 with me at the most. So if I might go to that middle ground and look for those $10, $15, $20 keys that I might be hunting for that other people in that area aren't looking for, that I can snap up. And hopefully the store is not using like eBay asking prices for their listings, because I've run into that where you walk into a shop, no prices anywhere. I'm like, well, hey, I'm interested in that $10 book there. Here's $10. Oh, hold on 1 second. They come back. It's going for $30.
Look at 6 months of history and find the highest price and tell you what it is.
Most shops don't even do that. Most shops look at the listings and then they govern their pricing based off of asking prices, not actual sold listings.
Yeah. Click that sold button there. Yeah.
That's when my spoiled butt walks right out of that shop and says,
I'm with you. I will not like if you start going to eBay to do prices, that just means you're lazy, right? That means that you didn't price the stuff before you put it out. Because I'm not talking like whatever's hot. I'm just talking about like everything in your store has no price tag on it.
Yeah.
You have the express intent to go check out what the current market value is and make me wait.
Yeah.
Make me wait while you comb through prices.
I don't disagree with that one bit, but it's an opportunity to have a crucial conversation in the moment with a possible shop owner or shop manager. Be like, hey, if you're going to eBay, please use your filter and set it to sold listings and sort as most current. And here's actual information on what's happening. Some people are just oblivious. They really are. Opening a line of dialogue can help build trust and hopefully maybe gain that sale. I mean, I've driven 4 hours away on weird random hunting trips where I'm on vacation. I'm like, I don't feel like doing anything but driving. And I end up having half a day long conversations with shop owners, be like, okay, in the end, some of them end in disagreement. And I walk out and I'm like, I ain't never coming here ever again. Peace out, yo.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
And it's frustrating. And then the whole drive home, it's like going to a casino and losing $500 and the whole drive home, you're just grumpy. And you're like, you got nothing to show for it.
I have rough one of those stories. I was at a shop that was an hour away from me, and he has just a bunch of he has 40 short boxes of just random books that aren't priced. And I'm like, can I dig through these? And he's like an older gentleman, like, sure, yeah, sounds great, whatever. I pull out a copy of Invincible Iron Man #9, the variant.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what book I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this is the thing. Sir, how much is this book? He goes to eBay, that'll be $400. I'm like, have a great day, bye.
Yeah. You didn't even know what it was because it was sitting in a bin.
Correct.
Underneath a table.
Yes.
He
was very excited that I found that.
Bucket that's catching the drippings from the ceiling, right? Yep. And it's not bad.
Yeah. So I was just I was so mad. I'm like, you're not gonna at least give me a deal on this because I found it and you had no idea it was there. He's like, no. I'm like, cool, bye.
There is a shop in Columbus, and I don't go there because of it. I walked in one time. I've gone there twice, 2 years apart. And the first time he was like, hey, the books are just, we got a whole bunch in, so they're just, if you see something you like, let me know. We'll hopefully get around them pricing them. 2 years later, I walked in, he gave me the same spiel.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So I know where you're at. I mean, I would look. It was the Batman 475. It's the cover with Scarface on it. It's the first appearance of Renee Montoya. Not a expensive book, really at all. I'm digging through the unmarked bin. He goes, hey, if you see something, let me know. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this one. And he goes, okay, let me go back and price it. He comes back and prices it, and he also puts a sticker on it that says first appearance of Renee Montoya. I'm like, I know. This is why I bought it. This is why I picked it up. I know you don't have to put this.
He's like, did you know this was the first appearance of her?
That saves him from having the conversation about why he priced it 3 times.
I was like, I know. And that's where I just I don't like to do their hunting for them is how I feel.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about. Do your work.
There was one in Florida that they priced out everything except for their slab books that they had in the case. And I'm okay with that a little bit more because at least they can have a conversation somewhat then. They know what they have. They know, they had a 9.8 of Batman Adventures 12 that was unpriced. So they at least know that the market fluctuates, and I don't know if they're going to go with what it's selling currently or not or how they do it, but, man.
Yeah. Sir, what's your price on this $700 book, please?
Right.
Or whatever. I mean, just being silly.
Oh, that's true. I get it. So yeah, when you guys go to a convention, then, so what do you go? I mean, are you spectators? Are you just looking around and waiting to see something that catches your eye? Are you hard to? I know Andy's story about his 129.
Yep.
But are you hard target? Do you go for the high end book first and then spend the rest of your time shopping through the bins? To see how much budget you have left. What's your philosophies when you go to a convention?
I'm way overexcited about this. I'm just going to break through you guys and come right off the bat here.
You do you, bro.
My convention philosophy is a grail, a white whale grail, something that I can't find anywhere else that I
Makes sense.
I have up real world situation. If planning works out, I have up to a year to budget for these conventions, right?
Correct.
So $20 a paycheck, $20 a week, $40, $50, whatever I can afford to budget cash. My main goal for these conventions is to hang out with you guys.
Aww.
That is my number one goal, is to spend time with you guys in person. And like, I'll run to a convention and I'll damn near kill myself running around looking for the best value in the one book that I'm looking for that I want to pick up. It's going to be a graded book. It's going to be a key. And I'll spend that first day just killing myself to do that, so that I can spend the next 2 or 3 days actually hanging out and spending time with everybody else. And then that last day of the convention, that's your value days, your bins, what are left over that you want to bring home that you're looking for, run fillers and all that other stuff.
That's solid. That is solid. So for me, I've gone to a couple conventions, and it was one of the things where I was going to a convention that's still kind of fairly new to the comic book game, and the last convention I went to where I kind of understood everything was C2E2 of not like 8 months ago, but the year before that one, where I kind of like understood like, all right, conventions and buying stuff. So like every time I go to a convention, I have like one book I have in mind and try to find the best deal on multiple copies of that book. Usually it depends, like it could be like for me, the year before that was Ultimate Fallout 4. Like I had a goal of acquiring at least 4 to 5 copies of that book before I left the show that year and a half ago. And I did, and I found 4 or 5 copies.
All 9 6s.
Of all 9 6s, but at the price I paid for the book in Brawl, like I found really good deals, and like because it was a book that was like popular, every dealer had some, and I had the option of like going through prices and like figuring out like which of the nicest copies I could find. But yeah, usually I'll come up with a book that I want to hunt down at a show, and then find multiple copies of it or the best deal of a book that is at the show. Like big boy books for me yet at shows that'll be whenever you do a next one, because that'll be something I probably could look for now.
For me, I don't really hunt at conventions. I know that sounds weird.
No, that's not weird at all
to say. Before pandemic, my wife and I were going to about 3 or 4 conventions a year, 4 or 5, probably more realistically, around the Midwest. And the way I get away with that is we go to meet the celebrities that are there, and then I go and meet the comic creators, and I just like to talk to them. So my convention.
Pause. So your wife comes so she can see like the hot guys in the shows,
like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa was at a con.
Yeah, whatever gets her there, right?
Jason Momoa was at a con. I said, "Hey, do you want to go? We can get our picture taken with Jason Momoa." She's like, "Yeah, done."
Yeah,
right.
It was, and she's getting into conventions a lot now. And I mean, this was before I ever had my Bearded Comic Bro Instagram or YouTube. Like, I haven't been to a con
since you became a YouTube personality, right?
I guess not. I wouldn't say personality,
right?
I would say a short.
You're gonna get when you finally do show up. I mean, you should probably just get a booth. So
I might as well. Like, I mean, I think I have like 450 subscribers. They might as well just pay me to be there now. But
I would buy a ticket to that booth. This is kind of funny. Like as silly as it sounds, like true. Like, all right, wait. If I do go to a show, I would have a YouTube channel, so someone may recognize me. I don't like that.
You're gonna have to run 2 booths now. One for Skeff's Comic Knowledge and one for Boom Mike Skeff.
I don't know.
See where that lineup lands.
That's Sunday after everybody's gone and Boom Mike Skeff is still there.
Right. He's like, can I finally go on the
cooler of old style?
So yeah, I go to get comics signed and meet the creators and talk with creators. And I mean, that just shows you, like, I was at one 2 years ago, and I was just getting back into the comic game, and I was like talking to my LCS owner. I was like, "Hey, like Ryan Stegman and Donnie Cates are going to be there. Like, do you have anything like I should I try and like get them to sign something?" He's like, Yes, you should.
Lots of things.
And like, so that's that's just like that was like pre-knowing comics a little bit more, getting back into the game. But I look at it as like I want to say what Andy said of meeting everybody, but like I said, I haven't been to cons since I knew about the comic community. Basically, I started the Instagram just to kind of post about comics because none of my friends like comics. And then now I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. This is a cool community. I'm looking forward to now doing cons.
Show of hands for all the people with more than one Instagram account.
Oh, shit.
And he just has the one, huh?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I think Baltimore 2019 was really a breakthrough where the community realized, oh, yeah, we can do something here and we can make it a big event for the YouTube comic book community. And the Comic Corps rented a booth, and there were some growing pains and some learning about setting up and connectivity and trying to do interviews and stuff like that. But I think
interviews and stuff, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, they were able to do live interviews from the floor. Then C2E2 2020, it got good. All the strings were cut and people hung out together. How many trips did we make through the beer line? 4, 3. That was
there for an hour.
Yeah, that's eventually the comic book conventions there's going to be a major shift where a big chunk of the conventions are going to be friends hanging out, and we're going to be hunting books and going off and doing groups. At some point, I see us as a community renting a booth or an area where there's just a focal point where we can all just say, yeah, we're all meeting up here in and out. No dedication, no dedicated times, no strings attached or anything like that. But here's our planned spot. You don't even have to rent a booth to do that. C2E2, you just find the beer.
No, you're saying we rent a booth. We just whoever's closest brings 2 couches, and it's just as our booth of like people like, what are you guys like? Don't worry about it. You're not.
Chad RCG already has that already set up for the next C2E2. He's like, I'm renting a booth space. We're bringing a couple of couches for just us to chill, putting up little posts, so that nobody can not everybody just come across. Like we have a bag drop area. Yeah,
little VIP section.
So
and you could do a community drive to help cover those costs so that people don't have to shoulder all of it. Booths at conventions like at C2E2, a small booth's like $1,500, $1,800, I think. I know Motor City, Detroit Comic Con booths, I heard we're running between $1,500 and $2,000.
Yeah, I mean everybody kicks in a C note and I think we cover it in no time. But yeah, anyway, so that's always a good time. I mean, I totally get what you're talking about, Andy. This last year, this con. C2E2 was like the first time I actually had an opportunity to go and meet and hang out with people that I had met, to have fun, at the con other than just, hunting for books because, it doesn't have to be a solitary sport, right? This can be a group exercise as well. And that's, part of the fun is, us getting to enjoy the hobby with each other and with other people.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to have been at a con with Skeff just because he's in Indiana. And I didn't know that because I've been to the Indiana Comic Con like the last 3 years.
And
Indiana has a Comic Con?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Indianapolis. It's I had Jim Sterling there a couple years ago. They have a good.
Me bagging on Indy.
Oh no,
that's a con I'd go to. It's only like a 3-hour drive, and I do it.
Well, last year we were going to go to we finished up C2E2, and my wife and I were like my wife was like, I didn't really get to do anything. I was answering questions from my kids the entire time. I didn't really get to go see anything. And I was like, well, we can go to the one over in Kansas City, because Adam Hughes was going to be there. And I'm like, and Art Germ and a handful of others. And that's when the hammer came down and that got canceled.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Midwest ones are great because they get did I say Sterling? I meant Sterling. You know what I meant. Shut up, John. No one watches it. Not go watch tomorrow because I'm with them. But Louisville, Lexington, those they had that's like I said, Donnie Cates, Ryan Stegman.
We don't care about Cates and Stegman.
Okay, Tom King.
I do.
The only thing that they serve is for me to sell more signed slab books.
So you do care to a degree.
No, I don't get in line. I just hand my books off to a facilitator and go, just get those back to me as soon as you can. But that's just me, right? I'm just not high on my list. Okay. Well, I don't have a lot of questions left.
Here's an interesting one. When you're so let's say you're at a convention, right? And you're like hunting at a convention, right? Are there certain like things that you look for at like dealer booths that make you want to like stop at that booth compared to like the other 400 that are there?
Good displays.
Yeah.
Good displays with clear pricing.
Okay.
Yeah, good displays, clear pricing, boxes of books on anything lower than table level. You'd be surprised at how many people can't be bothered to stoop down, bend over, or crouch. A day's, 2 days, 3 days worth of a convention, people are like, oh, I'm not going to get down there. I'm tired. I'll get down there for a 50, 60, 70, 80% savings or whatever. I've found some great books in boxes on the floor because people can't be bothered to look down on the floor or get down and spend time going through a long box on the floor,
It's where I find most of my 90s indie titles that I'm trying to,
Nice.
finish up runs on, like the 10th and shit like that. What about you, Greg? Any con advice?
Man, not really for hunting because, like I said, I'm the worst person when it comes to hunting at cons. It's just not what I. It's not what I do. I have to find out where the ice cream stand is to make me happy, and then I go to
get the booth next to the ice cream stand.
I mean,
just have soft serve in your booth. Imagine how much more money you
listen. If you have ice cream by your table, she'll let me shop there all you want.
So here's an interesting thing too. So like when you're like, regardless, like I guess, well, it'll be interesting. So when you go to conventions and you're going to like for the purpose of purchasing books, are you on mentality on like a 3-day convention? You're like, all right, I have a budget. And then you're like, do you wait till Sunday for maybe good deals, or do you try to like buy certain key books as fast as you can on that Friday if you're worried about them not being found over the weekend?
I'd say I keep 2 budgets. I keep a day one budget of a book that might be potentially hard to find, or a whale book or something that's hot, and I keep that, set aside. And then I have the Sunday, hey, hun, this deal is too good to pass up kind of budget. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission sometimes kind of deal.
Man, okay. All right.
Yeah. Sometimes I've heard of stories of people walking out with multiple long boxes of books for crazy prices, and they're like,
because they don't want to
the
move.
dealer was done. The dealer did not want to load these and leave. So it's kind of like those stories happen. Those things really happen.
Yeah, they do. That's all you're
Bonafide's got a show at a brewery coming up. Beer and comics right next to each other?
That could be dangerous.
I go to a small show up in New Berlin, up in Wisconsin. It's right next to Milwaukee, or just outside of Milwaukee. But the place is the New Berlin Ale House. So it's a brewery. It's not like a brewery, but it's it's a bar. It's a really nice bar and restaurant with a bowling alley, and it's got like a little convention area. And so last year I went to one and I sold at one like way early in the year. I did great there actually, but it's nice being able to get service while you're going through your books. Yeah, microcons.
That was the first C2E2. What year is it right now? We're 2020. C2E2 2020 was the first convention I had been to that you could openly walk around and consume beverages.
Yeah.
Every other convention I've been to, they won't even sell any beverages at any of the Michigan conventions.
Really?
Well, water, pop, soda, that's fine. Anything alcohol related, they don't sell on the floor.
Interesting.
That's sage advice from TJ.
I've gotten some of my best PC pickups over the years because of doing that, though. Because
remember Kanto?
That Kanto retailer incentive, it's like a $700 or $800 book right now. I only paid like $300 for that book one night because I was drinking and bidding.
Yep.
JP, don't get discouraged, man. They're coming back. We just got to get a little bit more of the shots out there.
Right.
I'm
Or
just
we're gonna
flabbergasted
cosplay as like a hazmat person. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted that Andy goes to cons that they don't let drinking happen. Like, I didn't know that existed.
It must be a Michigan thing.
I weep for you.
Right? You just need to come back more often. I mean, I don't even know what to expect. Now I don't want to go to Motor City Con next year because if I can't...
I'm not going to any Michigan cons now. Like, thanks. I'm going to stick to the ones that are right next to the Bourbon Trail.
Oh, the Michigan cons are sleeping. They'll wake up soon at some point. You know how much money? I digress into a whole other conversation. There's way too much money to be made by doing it. You know what I mean? They're gonna wake up. They have to. I mean, they'd say we're gonna check your bags. Yeah, you didn't check my bags. I got plenty to drink with it.
Okay, so we're gonna finish this up with like the specific books. Like what books? What are your main goals this year? Right. Let's go through them. And I want the chat in this as well.
Yeah.
Throw 2 to 3 down what you're actually looking for this year. I want to know. So, Andy, let's hear it.
ASM 135, CGC 9.6 or better. #1 book on the hunt list. Top. If I've got to sell my way to it out of PC stuff, the lower portion of my PC, or books that I'm going to find a way to try to get my way up there. Saga #1, Image First, 2014, 9.8. If I've got to buy 50 copies and submit half of those to CGC, I think it's close.
You're only $1, so
I gotta find a way to get that. That book is just. I gotta find a way. And then the Darth Vader #3, 1 in 25 LaRocca variant.
Oh God.
I passed up buying JP's copy for a very fair rate like 6 months ago, and it's
on a fair rate.
The recent sales have more than doubled what he was asking.
I'm sure.
And the only reason why I passed up that copy is in the moment when JP was selling it, we didn't have the availability to make that happen for that month.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, because
that's the one where Luke's hanging off of the thing.
Yeah. Yep. And that Dr. Afra's not even listed as being in anything, and she's such a good character, so awesome in Star Wars.
I don't think it's even her so much as the damn murder droids.
Yeah, that's a good portion. That's a good part too. The murder droids are hilarious. If you've not read that part of Darth Vader, if you've not read that run, you need to. The murder droids are hilarious. Those are the other one in there is on my hunt list is the Saga hardcovers.
Oh, nice.
That shouldn't be too hard. My hunt list for 2021 has some very realistic goals in here as well, because I don't want to shoot for the stars constantly.
For the stars.
And just
my parents said always shoot for the stars.
Right.
My parents said be mediocre. I mean, I'm kidding. No, but I've got some very attainable, very realistic goals. But the 3 big books at the top of my list are the ASM 135, 9.6 or better, that Saga 9.8, 2014 Image First. So anybody watching, please keep a lookout. Like I'm at the point where I'm willing to talk about some sort of finder's fee. Like if somebody finds something,
I'm going to start hunting for that book.
You know what I mean? Seriously, like
crowdsource that.
And then that Darth Vader 3 LaRocca variant at a 9.8. Nice. Not just a raw copy, but a 9.8. Hopefully.
Very nice.
Skeff, what do you got?
I am after a copy of Ultimate Fallout 4 in a 9.8. That would be ideal. This year. I'm after one of those. Surprisingly, I would like to pick up a copy of Next Men 21 at a 9.8 for a pretty reasonable price. I like Hellboy, and the books aren't going up anytime, so I'm like, oh, cool, might be a good time to pick one up for fairly cheap. I'm always after any ASM keys, so any nice high grade ASM keys I could pick up. And then the Grail book would be Amazing Spider-Man 135, CGC 9.6 or higher, probably.
So now there's going to be a bidding war on eBay.
Is he paying attention? Is he even paying attention?
No, he's not even paying attention.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, ASM 135, CGC 9.6 or higher, and then Journey into Mystery 83.
I heard that. I was reading the chat, but I heard that.
All right, so Beardy, we know that you're going after Batman, but like, What ones do you like? Do you like super want to knock off this year? Like,
All right, so I'll give you the
They're in our Batman.
the 4. I want 121. I want the Mr. Freeze. I want the 155 Penguin. I want the 171 Riddler, and I want the 189 Scarecrow. And you can throw in 181 Poison Ivy. Those 5 are ones that I'm hunting for.
Those are great. Those are great.
It's not. And again, I'm not a comic snob like some people who have to have it in a 9.8 here.
Yeah, I give no.
Love you, Matt.
Absolutely. I
was talking about Skeff.
Let me whip it out right now.
Said I want this book in a 9.8.
Yep.
I wasn't even messing with my boy Matt. No. Listen, I know I can go at John and I can put John in the corner, but I can't put Matt in the corner. So, the Mr. Freeze is the biggest one for me for sure.
That's a tough one.
So, I mean, that's definitely the one that's double probably any of the other books, even in a low grade. So that's really what I'm focusing on but I say that focusing, I mean, if I see it for a good deal, I'll get it.
Yeah, always.
And if not, I'll move along. But so yeah, if you guys are looking to sell, let me know.
I actually, we'll talk after. I think I might be able to help you out on a couple of those.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
But we got some good.
This is why Jimmy did the show. He literally is like, all right, I need to sell more books. Let me find out who can come on my show and what they want. I have a
separate segment.
We are on to your game, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, like we should do the live. Just do the live sale now. I'll start the bid.
I'm a helper, man. I'm a giver. I'm here to help. Help me help you.
As in, give you money. Got it.
Yeah, you give me money, I give you books. It works out. So we're gonna hit the chat here. We're gonna see what they're hunting for us. So John's Comic says his big plan was to get a DD1. I'm gonna assume it means Daredevil 1. But
Dungeons and Dragons.
Bed, so
Dungeons and Dragons #1 is a great pickup. Seriously.
Right? Yeah, especially that AD&D Player's Handbook. Right. On.
Right. That red one can be wonderful.
But John, give us more info. What did the chat smell like? What happened there?
Is that Daredevil 1 blew up and is so
yeah, that's true. That did.
Out of nowhere.
I got mine at the beginning of last year. I had it graded this last year, and it came back a 4.0. So I was very happy. Paid less than a K for that, so that was good. Yeah. Vincent McLean says his 2021 Want Grail list is on the right track. I'm guessing he's agreeing much with a lot of the people in here. Lowe's 2021 hunt books are becoming way unattainable. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Lowe's will be on the show in an upcoming. I don't think we have the date for that yet, but I think it might be a week from Thursday, 2 weeks from today.
It's nice.
Nice.
Vincent saying he's glad he got his Hellboy keys.
He does have the.
He loves his Hellboy.
TJ Slabdragon, my New Year's resolution is 6.5 is the new 8.0. Can't argue with that, man. I mean, sometimes I'm happy with a 6.5. That's mid-grade to me, but, Silver Age mid-grade is 4.0.
Sometimes it'd
be lower my standard.
4.0.
Yep. Sometimes you got to go after it.
Yep.
So it's funny that you mentioned that what was it? Next Men 21.
Yeah.
So I dropped my 2021 hunt list today. It's on my YouTube channel. The books that I'm going after. So I'm just gonna show the modern section of that. This is one of those books that I just was waiting I'd find in an LCS somewhere, but it got so hot there are none out, and if there is one around, it's expensive and it's beat up. So, bless you. So I'm going to have to find this book somewhere, in a solid condition. Because of course, I'm going to want something around a 9.8, 9.6 in this book, right? Because it's new, right? What's the point of going after that, in a lower grade? They're out there. I'm sure they are. Thundercats #1.
Oh, snap.
This is a terrible time for me to go after this book. It really is, right? But, because it's just, for some reason, it's taking off, and I don't know exactly why. But I had this plan to get all of my childhood cartoons that are in comic books first appearances.
Nice.
You and everybody else.
I knocked off Transformers #1 last year. I got Voltron #1 the year before. I got the He-Man, the DC Comics Presents 47 last year. Thundercats is one of the ones that was on the list, and I'm like, I better get this thing before it goes crazy stupid. But it's up there. Yeah, JP says because every book is taking off.
Yeah.
Yep. That's very true. Everything's exploding.
Yep. Let's see. What's the next one? Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, I have one of those. Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a cheat.
I love that
because I had planned to get this, and I actually came across a copy of it through a seller, and I'm already giving him some money for it. So this is likely to be my first my first one on the list knocked off.
Very nice. I love that. I really do. I love that. I was happy to pick up one of those last year.
So hard to find. I'm like, this is like one of the more rare books out there. Right?
Yeah.
It was a Comic-Con release.
Yep.
You know?
I picked mine up at a half price books for $10 because they didn't know what it was.
Oh my.
I saw it on the wall. I'm like, I'll take that immediately. I know what's inside of that. Don't need to open the back. Give it to me now.
Right.
Michael Turner.
Yes.
Michael Turner. Love Michael.
Yes.
So I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and I missed Mike Turner there. And then I moved here to Chicago from Las Vegas. And in 2007, we went to Wizard World Chicago. And I'm like, I'm going to see Mike Turner this time. I'm going to have him sign some books. And it was the day after he passed away.
Mm.
It was heartbreaking. I walked through that convention hall like a zombie the rest of the day because I was just so heartbroken over the loss of such a talented player. And I would love to get the German edition, which is where this actually first debuted as a cover. But that is so hard to find. This is equally expensive, but this is kind of pricey as well. But I'm starting to check out prices on it. It's not. I don't think it's
it's like 100
range. What was that, Skeff?
It's like 100, right?
Oh yeah, no.
For Raw? The German one or this one specifically?
This one specifically is still well over 200 for Raw.
Oh, okay.
And 9.8s are in the $500 range.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been watching this one as well.
And this is, for my moderns, this is my #1 pick. Adam Hughes cover to Teen Titans #75. Just a great Starfire cover. I mean,
I can see why.
Yeah, it's just it's one of the best ones that he's done. And I knocked off the Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes 23 last year. So looking forward to hunting that one down and picking that one up. Oh, TJ, you're breaking my heart, buddy.
I mean, are we surprised?
No, he doesn't.
Are we surprised though?
No,
I'm
way.
not really. I'm not. TJ is as big a Michael Turner fan as I am. I mean, the guy he's got some amazing stuff. But TJ, do me a favor, put that on Instagram tomorrow because I just want to see it.
That's awesome.
It is such a great, Lois. Yeah, I know you have that Comic-Con variant. Yeah, it is definitely a tough Hellboy book to get because it just doesn't show up that often.
Nope, it doesn't.
So anyway, I want to thank all of you guys for showing up tonight and hanging out with us, and everybody in the chat for coming and hanging out and talking about hunting. It's one of my favorite things to do. I do it as often as I possibly can. It's better with friends, and I'm glad you guys were able to make it out here. We'll be back here on my channel next Tuesday, where we will have Discovery Bay Comics, Hialeah Comic Bro, and the immortal Biggie Shack joining us to talk about their hunting goals for the year. Again, thanks for everybody for coming out and hanging out, and we'll talk to you soon.